Hi everyone, my name is Mark Kwok, and as always, we're talking about my favorite things. You'll notice that I have a big microphone over here, and the reason why is because this is what we're talking about today, the Shure SM7B dynamic microphone. So I'm gonna record all the audio into this microphone just so that you can get a pretty clear view on what it sounds like. It is a legend because it's been around for a very long time, and during that time period, it's been used for so many different applications. You think about podcasts, Twitch streaming, and famously, actually, Michael Jackson even recorded Thriller on this microphone, or I think it might have been a previous generation of this microphone. So let's talk about some of the pros and some of the cons, and then I'll do some tests here just so that you can hear what this is all about. The pros are this. One, it is a great looking microphone. If you happen to be recording something, creating content where you needed a microphone, this is one that can be visible, and a lot of people will appreciate that it's visible. Whereas some other microphones, I think, the looks aren't particularly a big deal, but this one, some reason, I just feel like it just looks awesome. So if you're doing Twitch streaming, if you're doing YouTube content, this is a great microphone to just have in play. And the truth is, you've probably seen this around all over the place. The second thing I think is obviously a huge plus to this is just the sound quality. You can manipulate the sound quality via the proximity effect. So if you get kind of closer, you notice that it's like that radio voice, and it sounds a little better. Now this is 2 inches, maybe 1 inch away from my face. But then also, even if you're 8 inches or 10 inches away from the microphone, it still sounds pretty good. It also blocks a lot of the sound that is out, kind of like if there's sound over there, sound over here, like it's really directional in a way that it only tries to capture what's coming directly in front of it. Also, it has a built-in pop filter, so when you say plosive, so you when you say those things, generally, if you have a microphone that doesn't have a pop filter, it will pop and it'll sound really bad. You can actually use the other included foam screen here. This is even bigger, so it will even protect those plosives even more. And so they really thought about that, and not all microphones do. The truth is that if this can be used by some of the top broadcasters and recording artists in the world, it's probably good enough for the average person like myself. The third thing is about its durability and just overall build quality. The thing is built like a tank. Now there's one part that could potentially not hold up. You see this wire over here. If you somehow snap that, I think that's a real problem. But the rest of the microphone is rock solid, and I just have never had any complaints about just the build quality and the feeling when you're kind of moving it around, things like that. Now I've said some pros to this microphone, but there is one huge con. I think there's a couple, but one big one. And that is going to be that this is a very, very difficult microphone to drive. What that means is that you can't just plug this into a computer and it just works, right? You need to have something like an interface, audio interface. You need to have some sort of recorder, and that's for most microphones. But the problem is those recorders, those interfaces that you may buy, they actually most likely cannot even handle this microphone. Basically, the problem is this. You go ahead and plug this into an audio interface, and then you try to speak into it, you're gonna get whisper quiet recording. So then you gotta turn up that volume knob, you gotta turn up the gain all the way to the top, and even then, it's gonna be whisper quiet. And by the time that you've turned it up all the way, there's all this kind of like hissing and humming noise that might be coming from your audio interface. That is a real problem with this microphone. If we're talking, let's say that you could get this microphone for $400, not cheap, right? That's an expensive price to pay for a microphone. But the truth is, you really have to pay not $400, but more like $520, $530. And I'll tell you why. You need to purchase something like this. This is a cloud lifter, and you'll see this packaged with this microphone a ton. They almost kind of go hand in hand together. There's also another version of this called the FET head. Basically, those two, you almost 100% need it in order to be able to work with this microphone. I have another piece of hardware here called the RME Babyface Pro, and this is considered a really, really good interface. You basically plug this into a computer and then plug this microphone into here. Now, even this, which is a super high-end audio interface, I mean, this is not cheap, guys. This can't even handle this without this. All I'm saying is that you should really, no matter what, if you're gonna get this microphone, you're gonna have to consider one of these. Now, that being said, if you're serious about podcasting or video or what have you, this is kind of the gold standard in some ways. And so I wouldn't try to get a substitute if this is the one you want. The truth is, this has been around for decades, and it will be around for many more decades. And I promise you, you're gonna still be able to use it. There's a reason this is the legendary microphone that it is, the one that kind of everyone seems to be using. So especially in this quarantine, COVID-19, you're at home and you're trying to be creative, or maybe you're even just on web conferences and things like that. If you want to up your sound quality game, and the Shure SM7B is a great way to do that. You're gonna have to shell out some cash and work with a little bit, but if you do and it works out, I think it's highly, highly recommended for me. You'll always have some need for a microphone, right? I imagine if you're gonna make any content whatsoever or have any sort of electronic, communication, this is a good way to get that highest quality. And truth is, there are microphones that are so much more expensive than this, but you really don't have to go much more above and beyond this to get that broadcast level quality. So there it is, the Shure SM7B microphone, one of my very favorite things. It is truly a legend, and if you are in the market for a microphone, this is the one to get. This is it has some quirks and so on, but definitely take this and then put it on your short list. All right, so there it is. I'm Mark Kwok. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.